Hi everyone, in today's video I'm going to make 3 cards using the Warm and Toasty stamp set from Stampin Up. This is a cling stamp set, so it's like our red rubber with its own cushioning already built into it. And the images are just adorable. You've got the 2 little mice with the bauble, you've got this great little bear, you've got these rabbits, I think they are, sat in a sleigh. You've got the reindeer and you've got this guy here, the big bear. The 3 cards I'm making today, I'm going to start off with something like really simple, step it up a little bit and then step it up a little bit more. And I'm going to use the one design across all the 3 cards, and I'm going to use one greeting, warm and toasty wishes for you. So they're the only 2 elements from the stamp set I'm going to use. What I'm also going to bring in a couple of the cards are the stitched shape dies, and I'm using the largest circle from this set of stitched dies. And then for one of the cards I'm going to be using the Dainty Diamonds embossing folder. So I'll show you a bit more as I go along, but that's just to give you an idea of what I'm going to be using. I'm going to be using one ink pad, which is the Balmy Blue, and as I say, I'm going to be using the Warm and Toasty Wishes for You, and I've already got that mounted onto a block. The base cards that I'm using are all going to be the same. These are Balmy Blue. This is A4 UK cardstock, which is cut in half on the short side, which gives you a 4 1/8 by 11 3/4 top folding card, or you can turn it sideways and do it this way. The 3 designs I'm going to do today are all going to be top opening. Each one of these cards is going to have a white matting layer. So the matting layer is going to be 5 5/8 by 3 7/8, and this will fit nicely onto the front of the Balmy Blue card with a nice kind of 1/4 inch border all the way around. So all 3 cards are going to have the same base layer and same matting layer, but all slightly differently. So the first one I'm going to do is the most simplest. Now, to save some time, I have already cut the bear out. Stamp set can be found on page 42 of our August-December holiday mini catalogue, and I am just going to be simply colouring these, as I say, in 2 colours, which is Balmy Blue Light and Smoky Slate Light. Now I'm going to colour the first one, but the next 2 cards I've already done it to save some time. So I'm just going to use the bullet tip end and just going to colour the little pom-pom on the top of his woolly hat. And then all the big white areas of his hat and his scarf, I'm going to colour in the Balmy Blue. I'm not doing any shading, I'm just literally colouring in the areas in the Balmy Blue. And these are great because you can just sit down, you don't have to think about anything, just get your blends out and just sit and do some colouring. So that's all I'm doing in the Balmy Blue, and now I'm going to bring in the Smoky Slate, and again using the bullet tip end I'm going to colour his hat. Now this might not be the greatest of colouring because I'm trying to do it so that you can see it, but I'm also trying to do it so I can see it without getting my head in the camera. So just a little bit of Smoky Slate on these kind of striped sections of his scarf, and the solid areas, as I say, are done in the Balmy Blue. I just want to show you that just by using one image from the stamp set, how you can create different looking cards. So that's how he's looking now. So here is the matting layer that's going to go on the front of my piece of card, and I'm literally just going to pop him up on dimensionals and put him on there, but I'm going to stamp the greeting. So I've got the warm and toasty wishes for you, and I've got my balmy blue ink. So I'm just going to ink this up, and I'm going to put this down near the bottom. There you go. I'm just going to put that on one side because I'm going to need it again in a minute. And then I'm going to pop this one up on dimensionals. So these are just our 3D foam dimensionals. They're just little sticky foam raised dots. And I'm going to pop him here. But what I am going to do, I'm just going to give him a little bit of grounding by using my balmy blue blend. And just before I stick him down, I'm just going to do a few kind of swipes with my blend and then stick him on top of it. Just gives him a little bit of grounding underneath him so he doesn't look like he's floating in the air. And then this is going to get popped up on the front of the card, and that's the first card done. Now I could add a few rhinestones, which I may do, so I'll just pop some of our stamping seal on the front. Pop that on, and that's the first card. So let me just find my embellishments. I'm just going to bring in fact, I've got, these are from the Snowflake Wishes Suite. These are blue adhesive backed gems. So I think I'll just put a couple of these. So we'll maybe have one there, one up there, and maybe one over here. Just 3. And I may or may not use the same gems on the other cards, or I may use our basic rhinestone gems. So that's the first card. Okay, so that's really very simple. So that's card number 1. So now I'm going to bring in my second piece of Whisper White. I'm going to bring in the ink and stamp the greeting up again, just in the kind of bottom left corner in the balmy blue. I've already coloured my little bear in, and then I've got a couple of extra elements. So I've cut the biggest circle from the stitched shape dies, and then I've just put this in my trimmer and I've sliced about 1/4 inch off, and this I'm going to line up with the edge, and I'm going to stick this one flat. So I'm lining that up with the edge of the card, and because it's got the stitching on it, not sure how well you'll see that, but it just gives it an extra little bit of dimension. I'm going to pop him up again, so I'm going to bring some dimensionals in. And I think these are just fun cards, and you know, with the way things are in the world at the moment, you know, if you get this through your post box, I think this would make you smile. So with this one, I'm going to put him on kind of so he looks as though he's skating along, whereas this one, he was more vertical. But before I do that, I've cut a piece of smoky slate, and this was just from a scrap, and I've just cut with my scissors up to the middle and then flagged the end, and I'm going to put that on the card like this. I've done the same with a piece of the balmy blue glimmer card, and I'm going to layer that just slightly over it, and then he's going to kind of sit on top. So I'm going to stick these two down flat, and obviously the reason I've used the grey is because I put grey in the colouring of his hat, so that is going to tie that together. And the circle is cut from Balmy Blue cardstock. And this is Balmy Blue glitter card. So this will all tie in. I'm just going to overlap, and I've made this one a little bit shorter. And then this one, I'm just going to put this way, like so. And I think it just needs one more dimensional there, because that's the bit that's just going to be off the circle, I think. So we'll put that like that. And that's really card 2. So I'm going to bring in another base card. Get plenty of glue on there, and then stick this directly down. Let me just get this straight. So that's card number 2. And again, I can bring in the blue dots and just put a couple of those scattered around. Put one there. So that's 3 on there. So that is card 2. Then for card 3, I've got a few extra elements. So what I've done, got the same white matting layer. This has been run through the Dainty Diamonds embossing folder. I'm not sure how well you can see that. I've cut a piece of Designer Series paper, which is from the Snowflake Splendor, which is like part of the Snowflake Wishes. And this is 1 3/4 wide, and it's just a little bit longer. I'm going to trim it down, but I'm going to position that over the Designer Series paper. But again, I'm going to put it to the edge, I think. So I'll just put some glue or should I put it, should we have a bit of a white gap? In fact, I'm going to leave about, I'm just using my grid lines here. I'm going to leave about 1/4 inch gap from the edge. So I'm going to line it up with the top to try and get it nice and straight. That's not straight in the slightest. And I'm going to position that on there. Just going to bring in my scissors and turn it over and trim it because it's just a fraction longer. So that's how that's looking. I've got another stitched die cut circle, which again I've chopped about 1/4 inch off the side. And I'm going to put this one to the edge of the card, and I'm going to stick this flat. I'm going to leave a gap at the bottom because I want to put my sentiment on. So I'm going to stick that to kind of the edge there. Then this time I'm going to stamp the sentiment on a piece of Whisper White scrap. This is 1 inch by, well, it's probably about 4.5 inches. So again, I'm going to bring in the ink pad. Ink up the greeting, and I'm going to put it over to the right, I think, and then stamp it on there. Just move that out of the way. What I've also done, I've cut a strip that's about 1/2 inch wide of our plush vellum speciality paper, and I've flagged the end, and I've done the same with a piece of the Balmy Blue. So I'm just going to put that to one side for a minute. So I'm going to bring this back in, and I'm going to layer these up. So this vellum is going to be stuck on here. So I'm going to put a little bit of adhesive on there to hold the vellum down. Then I'm going to put some adhesive on the top of this balmy blue, and that will hold itself and the vellum down. Like so. And then the Warm and Toasty, I'm going to trim this to make it narrower. I'm just going to put this in my little guillotine trimmer and trim it down so it's a bit narrower. It started off, as I say, at 1 inch, but it's going to end up being narrower. And I'm going to flag the end of this one as well, but I want this one shorter than the vellum piece. So I'm going to cut it down first, and then I'm just going to use my scissors and chop up into the middle about 1/2 inch or so, and then come in from the sides just to meet it and see how that looks. And I'm thinking that that's going to go just kind of on there. In fact, I think I'm going to put it over the vellum. I'm going to pop this one up on dimensionals. So just bring in my dimensionals again. Got a bit of glue stuck to my mat there from before, so everything I put down keeps sticking on it. So this one I'm going to again layer up towards the edge of the card, and it's just going to overlap the others. So I think that's looking okay. And then my bear, I'm going to bring him in again, put him on dimensionals. And again, I'm going to have him kind of going at a little bit of an angle like so. Bring in the base card. Make sure I've got plenty of glue on there. Stick this one down. Just turn that over and give it a press so I know it's fully stuck. And then again, let's bring in some of the little blue adhesive gems. I think we'll put one there. Maybe one there. And one there. So that's my third one. So I'll just bring them all in. Card 1, which was just the plain white matting layer with the bear and the Warm and Toasty. Card 2, which was the same matting layer, the same bear, just with an added stitch circle and a couple of bits of card. And then card 3, which has been stepped up again by adding an embossed layer, a little bit of designer series paper, the same circle, the same kind of banner type things, but just one's in vellum and one's got the greeting on. So 3 slightly different cards, all made with the same image and greeting from the Warm and Toasty. So what do you think? I hope you like those. Obviously, you know, with it being blue card, you could put, you know, a white piece of paper inside, or you could put a white piece of card inside and you could stamp something else on if you want. I'm just showing you the basics of the actual outsides of the cards, and then you can, you know, do with it as you wish. So I hope you like that video. Please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel if you don't already do so, at AppleLover53. If you use Instagram, also follow me on Instagram, because I do tend to post pictures of projects before they go live on my YouTube channel. So follow me on there, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you.